Good day and welcome back to a chapter a day. It is Sunday, March the 20. I'm sorry, we haven't reached the 20 something yet. March the 17th. We will be reading Exodus chapter 26 today. So, with that said, we are into the portion of the book of Exodus where the children of Israel have left Egypt. They are in the wilderness. God has met with them, with the elders, with Moses, given him laws, given him statutes and ordinances for by which the people should live, even for their animals. Now we are into the portion where we'll be reading about the instructions for building the tabernacle or the temple in the wilderness where God will be dwelling or will meet with the children of Israel, and where they will have the priests officiating to perform certain ordinances unto God, like sacrifices of different animals for different occasions. So that's what we are into. So the first part came yesterday when we read chapter 25. And God gave Moses specific instructions as to how to build the sanctuary, which is like the innermost holy place where the priests only are supposed to go. And then also the Ark of the Covenant, which is what will contain the testimony or the law and some other things that we will hear about later on. So let's go into chapter 26 of Exodus. Moreover, thou shalt make the tabernacle with 10 curtains of fine twined linen, and blue and purple and scarlet, with cherubims of cunning work shalt thou make them. The length of one curtain shall be 28 cubits, and the breadth of one curtain 4 cubits, and every one of the curtains shall have one measure. The 5 curtains shall be coupled together one to another, and other 5 curtains shall be coupled one to another. And thou shalt make loops of blue upon the edge of the one curtain from the self edge in the coupling, and the likewise shalt thou make in the uttermost edge of another curtain in the coupling of the second. 50 loops shalt thou make in one curtain, and 50 loops shalt thou make in the edge of the curtain that is in the coupling of the second, that the loops may take hold one of another. And thou shalt make 50 taches of gold, and couple the curtains together with the taches, and it shall be one tabernacle. And thou shalt make curtains of goat's hair to be a covering upon the tabernacle. 11 curtains shalt thou make. The length of one curtain shall be 30 cubits, and the breadth of one curtain 4 cubits, and the 11 curtains shall be all of one measure. And thou shalt couple 5 curtains by themselves, and 6 curtains by themselves, and shalt double the 6th curtain in the front of the tabernacle. And thou shalt make 50 loops on the edge of one curtain that is outmost in the coupling, and 50 loops in the edge of the curtain which coupleth the second. And thou shalt make 50 taches of brass, and put the taches into the loops, and couple the 10 together, that it may be one. And the remnant that remaineth of the curtains of the tent, the half curtain that remaineth, shall hang over the backside of the tabernacle. And a cubit on the one side, and a cubit on the other side of that which remaineth in the length of the curtains of the tent, it shall hang over the sides of the tabernacle, on this side and on that side, to cover it. And thou shalt make a covering for the tent of rams' skins dyed red, and a covering above of badgers' skins. And thou shalt make boards for the tabernacle of shittim wood, standing up. 10 cubits shall be the length of a board, and a cubit and a half shall be the breadth of one board. 2 tenons shall there be in one board, set in order one against another. Thus shalt thou make for all the boards of the tabernacle. And thou shalt make the boards for the tabernacle, 20 boards on the south side, southward. And thou shalt make 40 sockets of silver under the 20 boards, 2 sockets under one board for his 2 tenons, and 2 sockets under another board for his 2 tenons. And for the second side of the tabernacle on the north side, there shall be 20 boards, and there 40 sockets of silver, 2 sockets under one board, and 2 sockets under another board. And for the sides of the tabernacle westward, thou shalt make 6 boards, and 2 boards shalt thou make for the corners of the tabernacle in the 2 sides. And they shall be coupled together beneath, and they shall be coupled together above the head of it, unto one ring. Thus shall it be for them both. They shall be for the 2 corners. And they shall be 8 boards, and their sockets of silver 16 sockets, 2 sockets under one board, and 2 sockets under another board. And thou shalt make bars of shittim wood, 5 for the boards of the one side of the tabernacle, and 5 bars for the boards of the other side of the tabernacle, and 5 bars for the boards of the 2 sides of the tabernacle, for the 2 sides westward. And the middle bar in the midst of the boards shall reach from end to end. And thou shalt overlay the boards with gold, and make their rings of gold for places for the bars. And thou shalt overlay the bars with gold. And thou shalt rear up the tabernacle according to the fashion thereof, which was showed thee in the mount. And thou shalt make a veil of blue and purple and scarlet, and fine twined linen of cunning work. With cherubim shall it be made. And thou shalt hang it upon 4 pillars of shittim wood, overlaid with gold. Their hooks shall be of gold upon the 4 sockets of silver. And thou shalt hang up the veil under the taches, that thou mayest bring in thither within the veil the ark of the testimony. And the veil shall divide unto you between the holy place and the most holy. And thou shalt put the mercy seat upon the ark of the testimony in the most holy place. And thou shalt set the table without the veil, and the candlestick over against the table on the side of the tabernacle toward the south. And thou shalt put the table on the north side. And thou shalt make an hanging for the door of the tent of blue and purple and scarlet, and fine twined linen, wrought with needlework. And thou shalt make for the hanging 5 pillars of shittim wood, and overlay them with gold. And their hooks shall be of gold, and thou shalt cast 5 sockets of brass for them. And that's the end of the reading. It's all instructions to Moses to give to the children of Israel. And this is going to be for only certain craftsmen. Later on, we'll find out who the craftsmen were, that God appointed everything. God is the best, what do we call this? He's the best construction, he's the best architect, he's the best designer, construction designer, craft work, whatever we can imagine. God is the best at it. So he is giving them instructions for building the tabernacle. Now the tabernacle is something where it's the place where the children of Israel will gather at certain times for the priest to perform certain ordinances for sacrifices for different times that God will appoint or has appointed. So he's giving them the instructions. Now remember, they are moving through the wilderness. They are not stationary yet. So every time they stop, the ark will be set up. Later on, we will hear who God appoints to build the ark, to take it down, to put it up, to take care of all of the utensils inside. God will give them every instruction, nothing left to the imagination. So he's giving them the colors, the materials, type of materials that he wants them to use, the length, the measurements, everything God is giving them. Because when they are setting up the tabernacle, it'll be all curtains, coupled. So they're going to be using, like anybody who has ever put up curtains in their homes, you have to have rods. So the length of the rods, the hooks that will have the rods in place, the length of the curtains, the color of the curtains, how thick the hems should be, and how thick the edges that connect each curtain to each curtain should be. Everything God is giving them, leaving nothing to the imagination. And Remember all of the things that the children of Israel came out of Egypt with. These are what they will be using. We will hear more about that later on. So this is what they are making. There will be a place in the tabernacle that will divide holy place, that from most holy place. And of course, only priests and only a specific high priest will be allowed to go in the holy place, which we will discuss later on or read later on. And then the ark that we heard the instructions for in the previous chapter will be placed in a specific place in that tabernacle. So this is like, I would say, the temple. I think temples were built when they actually reached to the promised land that they were given. That's wherever it was that the different tribes finally settled, then temples were built. But while they're going through the wilderness, it's going to be this should I call it, this movable temple. So it has to be built in a way, because you can't keep breaking it down and building it up. It has to be constructed, but it's all going to be of materials, soft materials that can be folded up and, yes, taken with them and then set up again. So that's what it's all about. And that's the end of our reading. And I hope you all have a wonderful day and a great week ahead. It is Sunday, first day of the week. So until our next reading, enjoy your day. Goodbye.